blockchain solutions and the future of the space. Now, it's really interesting how I got into blockchain. So I am a marine biologist by profession. So and I've been in the NFT space as well, and I saw that there is a connection between the two. I saw that you can solve a lot of problems with marine conservation using blockchain tech, and I wrote an article about that, and that's how I started getting into the space, and that's how I started uh, studying about the space. So in this talk, I'll be talking about the basics of blockchain tech as well as the direction of as well as the direction of the entire industry where it's headed. And this topic will sort of to aim to give you an overview of the space, and I'll also try and mention some of the challenges in this space. There's a lot of challenges, but I've tried to distill it down to the main challenges, and that's where the real solutions lie. So yeah, let's get to it. So introduction to the technology. So when I say the word blockchain, I'm pretty sure many people would assume, oh, Bitcoin, Ethereum, fast money, NFTs, crypto. But what really is this technology that we are building upon? It is nothing more than a digital decentralized ledger. That's all it is. And this ledger helps us create a trustless peer-to-peer network where transactions are recorded. And the beauty of this is it removes middlemen parties like banks for transactions. And peer-to-peer means if I am giving something to another person, it's just between me and that person. Nobody else has to be involved. And so this technology also helps solve complex problem in supply chain logistics, digital ID verification, IP rights, and how this does that is transparency. Because it is immutably on chain, you can always go and have a look and see what was made first. So since this is a disruptive technology, meaning it's there in almost any sector you can imagine, from healthcare to finance to biology, we will see that this will sort of start creating a paradigm shift in all of these sectors. So how does this work? Fundamentals of blockchain. So a network of computers are used to validate and record transactions on chain. Now these computers are called nodes. Proof of work is a consensus mechanism where if you run a node, you get rewarded. And proof of stake is you stake what you have to participate in node verification and you get rewarded. There are several mechanisms for this. Now, this consensus mechanism helps create security. It helps prevent um, uh, the layout of the presentation has been tiled in my computer. Was there any change from your end? Um, no, I don't believe I've changed the layout. Um, Siddharth, is everything okay?
Yeah, the layout is in auto. Harish, like, can you, if you look at like the three dots in the bottom right, more options, if you go there, you'll be able to change the layout.
Oh, yeah,
Can
you
you?
mean pin the, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
can you try doing that? Okay.
I think you
I
just
actually.
pin the,
Okay,
uh,
cool.
yeah, okay. Um, should I continue, Siddharth?
Yeah, Angad, you can continue.
Okay,
Harish is
cool.
here.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, so as I was saying, consensus helps with security, and that is what helps give blockchain its security measure. And it also prevents uh, things like double spending or other fraudulent tactics. Because the data is stored on chain, That means it's immutable, meaning once it's stored, it cannot be changed. And I've written here, once the data is recorded on the blockchain, it cannot be altered retroactively. By retroactive, I mean you can't go back and tamper with what's been done. And that's why you have a permanent and tamper-proof record of transactions, which just makes it even more secure and trustworthy. History of blockchain. So blockchain tech was born with Bitcoin, as we all know. After the housing crisis of 2008, Bitcoin was the first peer-to-peer network that was created. But who really is Satoshi Nakamoto? So as I was making the slides this week, uh, this person popped up on Twitter, Dr. Craig S. Wright, and he started telling everybody that I am Satoshi Nakamoto, and if you go to his website, you'll see the original white paper of Bitcoin has been remade with him as the author and Satoshi Nakamoto as his pseudonym. And I guess I don't really know if it's him because a lot of people want to, I mean, who wouldn't want to say I am Satoshi Nakamoto? So he might be in the early circles. I'm not sure, but it's really interesting to see where this is going. So yeah, very bullish for blockchain tech this year. Lots happening. So the current state of blockchain technology. So we've seen a rise in decentralized finance. So decentralized finance, or DeFi, is just a decentralized version of TradFi, which is traditional finance. And so when you think of DeFi, you can think of things like decentralized version of lending, borrowing, and trading. Essentially, what a bank does, but instead you have smart contract protocols that do this for you. Like a very famous DeFi protocol is Sushi Swap, where it's this UI where you can go and exchange your tokens for other tokens. It's like going to the airport and changing your currency for another currency. It's pretty much that, but it's decentralized. And then, of course, NFTs, one of the most famous aspects of blockchain. Now, if you ask anybody about blockchain, the very basic level, they'd say, "Oh, NFTs, monkey pictures, and trade monkey pictures for more money." And what an NFT really is, not many people know because non-fungible means you can't replicate. It's only one of a kind. So this means that you have a way to immutably prove your ownership on chain to an asset. You don't need banks to verify. You don't need anybody in the middle to come and verify this. Um, the opposite of a non-fungible token is a fungible token, and for that you can think of ERC20 protocol tokens such as the Binance coin, Ethereum, um, the Pepe. There are so many coins built with the ERC protocol, and it's really simple. It's just a repetition of one uh, type of coin. So the next growing development is enterprise in blockchain solutions. Now, this is really interesting because everyone right now is focusing on supply chain management to bring more transparency, to sort of fix all the gaps in between. And IBM is a leader in this. And, if we see if you see organizations like Walmart taking part, that shows that, blockchain is being adopted really fast. And then blockchain in the government, the main idea here is digital IDs, so you can sort of set up voting systems and also CBDCs, which are um, what are CBDCs? Digital currency, centralized banking digital currency. Now, this is the antithesis of a decentralized currency, but they are sort of hard forking the code. And if you read the news, you'll see that Brazil has hard forked Ethereum to create their own private CBDC. Do what do what you will with that information, but that is not what decentralized technology is meant to do. And stablecoins. Stablecoins offer stability, like it says in the name. It has pegged the value to the US dollar so that people can use that to off ramp from various protocols. Okay, so now for the fun part, emerging blockchain solutions. And the first thing is titled DAOs, Decentralized Autonomous Organizations, my most favorite topic in all of blockchain technology. And the reason that is because this is an organization or an entity that is completely ruled by code, meaning you can't tamper with it. The rules have been set in stone, and if you want to update it, you have to have a consensus vote. And this vote may be quadratic voting, maybe normal voting. Only if it goes through can you update the software. Otherwise, it is what it is. You can't change it. And these DAOs are being implemented in several businesses right now, several communities. It's really interesting to see how they go because some DAOs work, some don't. And I personally feel like it depends on what the mission of the DAO is. Next, we have fractional ownership. So blockchain is enabling the fractionalization of traditionally indivisible assets like real estate or artwork, allowing more people to invest and benefit. So suppose I have an acre of land, I can divide it by 100 and create these micro fractions of the land, and there will be 100 individual people who own that. So everything that I get from the land profits, they all roll to royalties or to the 100 people who hold ownership. So this is one way to democratize real estate, and because it's not easy for normal people to just get into real estate, it takes a lot of capital to start. Metaverses. So imagine virtual land. That's all it is, and everything that you can do in real life and monetize things with ad spaces, or have galleries, museums. You can do all of this in a metaverse, and there are leaders in the space like Decentraland and Sandbox that are pioneering cross-chain bridges. Now, this is really interesting because interoperability is a very big problem in blockchain tech, meaning it is not easy for to get one blockchain to talk to another blockchain. Chainlink is pioneering in this. Um, so when I say interoperability, I sort of have two trains of thought. One is a blockchain talking to another blockchain, and the second is getting real world data on chain. And that's why I've highlighted oracles, because that's what oracles do. So we have to make sure that oracles are valid, oracles are trustworthy, because getting real world data on chain means it will become immutable. So for that to happen, you have to make sure that the data that's coming on chain has to be accurate. That's a very big challenge in blockchain right now, because right now oracles may be human or non-human. So if you were to say, let's say you had to account for the number of people visiting a particular hotel or something like that, you can either have a registry, but you would also need a security layer to make sure that the identity of the person is who they say they are. Um, so that's where oracles comes in. And then blockchain and AI. AI has seen a solid boom this year and the end of last year because more people are getting into it and they're understanding what it is all about. So how we can correlate AI with blockchain is very simple. You can run models and results on chain, which creates trustworthy and tamper-proof results. And again, if you are good at AI, you will have a role in blockchain and vice versa. That's how it goes. I mean, that's how I've seen it go. So challenges in the space. So so regulations will always be an issue. Like just today, I'm not sure if anybody saw the update, but XRP had just won the case against the SEC, saying that it's not a security. So regulation will always be an issue. Um, Complex user experience. It's not easy for a normal person to come on on chain and start staking and yielding and doing stuff on DeFi protocols. They have no idea what they're doing. The easiest thing for them to do would be to sort of get a MetaMask wallet and start buying an NFT, and that's how they know that they are actively participating in the space. So the back end development in blockchain technology, every chain is moving faster than the front end. So that's another challenge. front end needs to catch up to the back end. So next we have legal and ethical challenges. The problem here again, data privacy. Who has the right to your data? Will you allow to get a hold of your data? So this is actually a problem that it solves for normal people, but big corporations aren't really happy about data ownership. This means that they will have to create there. I mean, there is a boom in data economy. Ocean Protocol is an example, where you get rewarded for sharing your data, and you have every right to get rewarded because it's yours. Nobody can take it for free. I've added interoperability again because as much as it's an emerging solution, it's still a challenge because blockchains can't talk to other blockchains. There have to be layer twos built or even layer threes built for cross communication. Because once that happens, it's going to be, I can't imagine the future if that happens, honestly. And then we have adoption in traditional industries. Now, a lot of people who are very deep in blockchain keep telling that we need mass adoption because that's how the technology would go mainstream, and that means the value would also go up and all of that. But you need to solve functionality first, and if you can scale that functionality, you will see that mass adoption is nothing but a byproduct of the scaled functionality. That's all it is. The reason why a lot of Web3 projects are picking up in real world, a lot of blockchain based products are picking up or services, is because nobody is talking about what the technology, the foundation is. They just show that the product or service works, and people are happy that yes, okay, it works. I don't really care what chain it's built on. I don't care what protocol. I don't care what language. No, it's more for the builders to understand that adoption means functionality, and functionality means adoption. So these are the main challenges, at least according to me. I'm sure that once you boil it down and go into a different niche, like let's say law, for example, you'll see that there's a bunch of challenges. You go into um, marine science, like me, for example, you'll see that there's challenges, and challenges will keep, these problems will keep coming up, and there is so much good that can be done with this technology. So what does the future hold? So with the advent of stuff like decentralized finance, Web3 DAOs, digital currencies, it's going to completely change the way the digital world is lived. And the keywords here are paradigm shift, because it is going to be a very disruptive way things are going to change. People are going to be scared at first because they don't really know uh, what is coming. We know what's being built, but we don't really know how it's going to be implemented in the real world. And it's important to realize that everything else is decentralized on chain and autonomy. Decentralized means nobody, there is no middle person. No, you are your own owner of all your data. And on-chain means security and it's immutable. Autonomy means you have full, complete freedom. You can do whatever you want with your assets. Nobody can tell you what to do with them. So now a starting point for people who have just entered the space, or a person who wants to build out a project or do anything with this knowledge. So understanding the concept is one. It's very simple. You just need to read about it a bit. It's not going to take much time, or even participate in seminars like this. Um, but I would say a lot of people I've seen, they jump right into courses and certification, like from Coursera, Udemy, and stuff. I have respect for that because it does take effort and time, and you remember stuff. But there is nothing like you know doing hands-on learning where you actively engage in a project and you see what is being done, and you see how teams sort of tackle real world problems and how you sort of scale your product. um, the only problem with courses and certification is it takes time, and then one thing we've noticed with the boom of after, during and after pandemic is a lot of people study on their own, no real courses, no real certificates, and they end up pretty well. So, we need to sort of, again, disruption. That's disruption for you. Nobody really thought that, I need a certificate to sort of do something big. You don't. You just need to prove that you can do something big. And then we have networking. This is something I really, really want to stress on, because if you have a question in any field of subject, there is nothing like going to the person who spoke about it first, to talk to them and ask them questions. If you have 10 questions to ask someone when you first meet them, trust me when I say this, they will never forget who you are. Because instead of going to someone and saying, "Hi, I am so and so, I'm building this, and I appreciate what you're doing," that's normal, that's common. What I do is I go to the person and I tell, "I've noticed you've used this so and so method, and I think that it could have been improved by doing so and so." Now, the person will think, how can this person who doesn't know anything about my subject talk to me like this? And it's good because he'll explain it to you and then he'll never forget you. And that's how you sort of build connections. And if you have something to show to the world, these networks will always be important. The network effect is real and you shouldn't really underestimate it. Always be networking. Just keep pushing out your from your comfort zone and just keep meeting people. And then research and innovation. Again, as I say, just keep build, just build. Because you can, take the traditional route of writing a paper, which is really cool, or you could, have a product and go to proof of concept, raise some money, and set your own business, and that's awesome because you are actively participating in real world change. You are helping mass adoption take place because you have scaled functionality. So these are a bunch of languages you can learn to participate in different blockchains. As you can see, Solidity is uh, used for Ethereum or any ERC20 token. It doesn't take much nowadays. You just need ChatGPT, and all you have to tell ChatGPT is, look, I want to create a new meme coin, an ERC20 protocol coin, and code for me in Solidity, and it'll do that for you. It's not hard. So you have a lot of helpers around you, especially AI helpers. So take full advantage of that and learn as you keep going. And JavaScript is a very universal language, very broad spectrum. So it's always good to know that. Go and Rust. Rust specifically is a good WebAssembly language to know, especially with the rise of ordinals on Bitcoin. Rust Rust is where it's at. Rust and C++, but Rust more importantly because it's faster. You learn faster. Um, and then Python is a very basic scripting language. It's there for almost every blockchain at a very beginner level. C++ was used for Bitcoin, but again, like I said, ordinals on Bitcoin is really gaining fast traction right now. So that is a very good language to pick up and start pursuing in the space. So resources to learn and connect. Um, the best way, this is again, this is all personal. you can you can have your own pathway, you can have your own connections, but this is how I started out. So I started out by deep diving into Twitter and I start seeing all these accounts who are actively uh, you know talking about the work they're doing. I start reaching out to them, I start DMing them, connecting with them, have a call with them. And then Discord, again, Discord is where you can sort of create a network. It's better than a Twitter group chat. So here you directly connect with people. It's like an informal LinkedIn because you don't have to, do stuff like greetings and all that. And then LinkedIn again, if you're not into Discord or Twitter because LinkedIn is like a formal Discord to me. Um, and then another important thing is to remember for connection is, you reach out to founders, project devs, and community. And what you can learn from founders is what does the community want first. Founders know this. They know that community wants it to be rewarded as soon as possible. Community want to be first access, all of that stuff. Project devs, the devs will understand how tough it is to build out a project and what realistic expectations look like. And community is always good to talk to the supporters of a particular project and see why they believe in it. It's you can always learn more from a community than by reading a document on a project, because the document you read is only one perspective. It's just your opinion. But the community has thousands of opinions. So many people in the space will come in and talk about why they think their project is the best or why this technology is really good. But you have to remember, you have to be very objective about this, because there is good, there is bad. Like Ethereum, everybody says, Ethereum's amazing, but then nobody really talks about the Ethereum hack in 2016, which made them shift from Ethereum Classic to Ethereum. So yeah, so there is good and there is bad. So again, I'm repeating this point: courses and certificates are good, but they're not great, because there's nothing like hands-on learning. And the problem with certificates and courses or even YouTube tutorials is you get stuck in this thing called tutorial hell, which means you finished one tutorial, you show it in your GitHub that you have a repo that says that I built so and so, but then you that's it. You can't really think for yourself. You need to come up with a project. You need to think for yourself and build something out that will sort of train the muscle in your head to build more stuff. You start it sort of switches on critical thinking and problem solving. So yeah, that's so these are my personal resources to connect and learn. So closing remarks. Again, this is personal, but I'm sure many of you can relate. Always ask why. Why do you want to be in this space? Why do you want to build this out? Why do you want to do any of these things? Why is any of this worth it? And most importantly, why are you fit for the role? So if you aim to dive deeper, find as many gaps as possible, because moving from the stage of ideation to creation is really hard. You can have 100 ideas, of which only 10 can be really implemented, of which one might take off and you might do well. So this is something you need to remember, that I personally learned very late. You need to set up a trustworthy team. You can't do everything on your own. If you're building something out, you need a co-founder, you need a dev founder, you need a team of people around you to sort of align with and understand what exactly you're building. So that's so I realize that the talk I've given is very, very basic, very superficial, and the idea is to sort of ignite this curiosity about blockchain technology and what problems it can solve. And yeah, so I am helping form a community for blockchain-based founders, builders, and general enthusiasts. And I would be happy to connect on Twitter, or please reach out to me in the chat or through Siddharth, or because this needs to be a bit more mainstream. And I feel like a lot of people in the city are really curious, but they're not really doing much to learn. And it's always good to have in real life events and even seminars like this, for example, for people to spread their knowledge, or just discuss what they've learned, or come together and connect and build something out for the city. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Angad. So maybe we have like
Yeah, questions for sure.
questions. So
Yes.
yeah, maybe I'll go last. So people, if you have any questions, if you are like thinking about using blockchain to build something for this hackathon, like if you want any suggestions from Angad, like we could use the next 30 minutes for that discussion. So I think someone has posted.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, it's a bigger question. I will let you read, so it's
Okay,
easy.
sure. um Thanks for the question, Subhash. Also, just another disclaimer: I am not a dev, so don't expect don't expect like accurate answers. Do your own diligence as always. I'll just hope that I can guide as best as possible. So Subhash is asking. I was also thinking that implementation cost, gas fees, deployment cost will be increasing the cost of current legacy healthcare, and that will be included in patient's bill at the end of some way or form. Will this happen? Is there a bigger picture that I'm missing to see here? So, okay, I was thinking to fit in any use case in healthcare in smart contract. Yes, we took a couple of thoughts. Okay. Healthcare system process. Okay, so what gas fees does is, again, yeah, it gas fees will, like, let's say if it does come in the bill, it's going to be pretty expensive, and the reason is, there's more load on the network. Um, if you're solving a problem like this, you can always create your own blockchain. You can always start your own blockchain. It doesn't really have to be uh, Ethereum, or there's so many blockchains. There's Celo, there's uh, um, I can't believe I can only name one, but because that's who I work with currently. So you can always create your own blockchain to solve a problem. There's public blockchains and there's private blockchains. And in a situation like this you've mentioned, it seems like not everyone wants their personal details shared. So you would want to sort of create a private blockchain, and on that blockchain you can implement a smart contract layer, recognizes which creates a non-fungible token for each and every patient that enters the system. Maybe that would work.
Yep. Thanks. And then on the second point, which I
Yeah,
mentioned,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So interoperability, again, it's personally, the work I've done with interoperability is getting real world data on chain. And so you said in a lot of countries, healthcare interoperability is very crucial. Uh, Most of the healthcare system follows FHIR, Fast-Moving Global Resources, how to achieve the blockchain. This is a gold question. If you can solve this, you're like Satoshi Nakamoto Part 2. So um, nobody. So what people are doing is they're building layers on top of the base layer to make blockchains talk to each other, and that is one way of helping with interoperability. Like if you see Polygon, which is a layer two solution for Ethereum, Polygon is its native currency, Matic, is turning to Pol, which means Pol can be used in every layer and every protocol built on Polygon, which includes, ZK rollups, which is zero knowledge rollups, and EVMs, Ethereum virtual machines. It can be used in all of these protocols. So maybe have a look at what Polygon's doing, and if interoperability is uh, your goal, maybe a private blockchain on top of which you have a very good smart contract layer that might be able to help.
sure. I'll look into that, Angad. Thank you. Thanks for your insights.
For sure, for sure.
Anyone else? Any other questions? If you want, like you can unmute yourself and ask the questions, or you can put it on chat too. Okay, Angad, like since people are silent, maybe I will take.
Yes, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, so we touched upon like how blockchain is going to disrupt when it comes to like government, right?
yeah.
Can we like a little bit deep down like on certain things like how maybe like in a corporation like Coimbatore, right?
Yes.
One, it is on a bigger scale like the banking system and other things.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
also like maybe there is like one problem statement which is part of this hackathon, wherein
Hmm.
it is about tagging assets, right? Like right? Like
Asset
there are
mapping, asset
yeah
mapping. Yeah.
GIS mapping and things. So
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
something on that.
Yeah. So it's really, so we need to, if you look at mapping assets, GIS data is a part of the asset. All other information of the asset is a part of it. And all of this combined is just metadata. And it's very simple to tokenize assets because the metadata it can't be changed retroactively. That's one thing. Once you've set it in stone, it is what it is. But then let's say you have a piece of land which has been tokenized and it says 2 acres, but then let's say you have bought another acre to the side. This can be verified with the GIS information, and this can update your asset token. Now, what this asset token is called a dynamic NFT because you're adding metadata on top of it. You're adding more information, and it keeps changing with time. Uh, and everything that happens to the asset, which is the piece of land, for example, can always reflect on the asset. And for this, we need oracles because, again, real world data to chain, there has to be a very reliable oracle.
Okay. Again, this might sound dumb, but like again, this is a question I sort of got like when you were
Yeah,
explaining this. So,
yeah,
in case of maybe like government things, right? For example,
mm,
now we have register offices where when we go and register lands and things, they are
yeah,
like the record keepers of all the
yeah,
things which is happening. So,
yeah.
will these people become like the oracles in a way, or how does that happen?
Uh, that's a very good question because I think it depends on what information you want to bring into the asset. So if like, yeah, that's the KYC part. Okay, registering it to your name. Maybe it will be a bit centralized. Maybe the person who is registering it for you, the government official, they might be the oracle. But then also we have the GIS part. Whoever is operating the GIS software, like ArcGIS, for example, um, they might be an oracle because they have to make sure that latitudinally and longitudinally everything is accurate. And oracles, there might not be one oracle uh, for what you're trying to create. You might need many, and this brings me to a point of what we use in marine science and blockchain tech and marine conservation. More importantly, is um, monitoring, verification, and reporting. And monitoring, reporting, and verification, and MRV protocol. This is what oracles use because you need to monitor first, you need to report, and then verify. And this is how you can keep updating the metadata of the asset. Um, and what this is already being done in a very centralized way. What's different is with the help of a DAO and through smart contracts, you can do decentralized uh, MRVs. That's where it's a bit different in blockchain with oracles.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's all I had. People like anyone else had any other questions? I
Hi,
think
Angad. I've got an idea.
Yeah,
I
good.
mean, I've got
Yes,
like
Harish.
a small question regarding
Yeah.
the e-currencies that
Hmm.
the Indian government is trying to introduce.
Yeah.
Even if we have decentralized Oracle in the e-currencies that's to be supplied, uh,
Hmm.
how about the middlemen, like the price data aggregators, like operators or any other aggregators, like in betweens, that'll come between the consumer and the RBI,
Yeah.
that will work in India. How much would the
So
government be, uh, you know,
yeah.
uh,
So I think the fundamental issue here is e-currencies aren't decentralized. They're just digitizing the nation's currency. That's all they're doing. And there is no middle person or aggregator between the RBI and you. The RBI is the middle person. Like if you were to send me the digital rupee, the RBI would have to be involved. But if you were to send me Bitcoin or Ethereum, nobody would be involved. That's what decentralization is.
yeah, I'm quickly starting out in the blockchain thing, so
Mhm.
random thoughts are crossing my
Oh
mind,
no,
and
no, that's see. I
figure
would
out.
just like, of course, yeah, I would just like to add that Siddharth, I hope you don't mind. Uh, I'm shilling the community aspect here, so I'm sort of helping build this community of blockchain enthusiasts in Coimbatore, and our hub is going to be in RS uh, at Bulls and Bears Cafe. So, uh, I am very excited to have more of these real life events where we break down all these topics, and just have these discussions and sort of um, ignite this curiosity in the audience. Because there's only so much I can explain in a talk like this, and I'm really grateful Siddharth gave me this opportunity. But I really believe that I need to carry this momentum, and I need to be there in person with people who are curious, and we just keep ideating. And it's, again, everybody has one important point of the blockchain that is the reason that they're there. For some people, it's, for the OGs, it's how Bitcoin is. You can send Bitcoin from here to the US without any problem. In like 30 minutes it's gone. And for some people it's smart contracts. For me it's DAOs, because I think DAOs are, the future of how organizations can work, because there is no CEO in a DAO. There's none of that. It's decentralized. Everyone does their part. If you do your part, you're programmed to get rewarded. So that's how I see the space. So yeah, so please check out Bulls and Bears Cafe on Instagram and give them a follow. And if there's any events there in person, I will be there, and I will be helping all of us connect and grow and learn.